That's the niche sound, is having a beat you can dance to and bob your head and, and hold your drink and feel cool. That's my niche sound. It's a niche mood more than a niche sound.
Hey, gang, welcome to Wednesday stream. We have got an exciting one today as we've got a double header of guests coming in. Firstly, we have Grammy-nominated DJ producer Todd Terry. He has been engulfed with dance music since he first started his European dance music records, growing up in Brooklyn. In the mid-90s, the Ministry of Sound's Epitous label, UK label, had a day in the life, a Todd Terry collection of tracks that have been causing dancefloor panic. That led into a deal with Mercury Records, allowing him to set up context in which he could get his favourite singers and performers. The first release, Keep On Jumpin, features a vocal workout from super-divas Martha Walsh and Jocelyn Brown together for the first time. That song became a top 10 crossover worldwide smash. Secondly, my second big guest is my good friend, Mr. Steve Mack. He's an English house music producer and DJ who's was half of the Riva Masters and also had other aliases, including These Machines, and also under his own name. And it's as Riva Masters that when I first learned about Steve, he remixed the Keep On Jumpin record originally, which is one of my all-time favourite records and all-time favourite remixes. And then became friends with Steve whilst I was at Turnmills, and Riva Masters have been a part of Data Transmission's birthday celebrations through the 8th, 9th, 10th birthday, and now we're on our 15th. I'm so excited when I got Steve's new remix of Keep On Jumpin, and that we can do this great conversation. Flash forward quarter of the year, Todd's Freeze Records released the mighty mashup of Todd's classics, Jumpin' and Keep On Jumpin', courtesy of Steve Mack, this has been tearing up the dance floors as a secret weapon. So, we're going to get Steve in. Todd's on his way, and we'll start with Steve.
Hello, mate.
And when Steve gets in here, let's just welcome Steve in. Hey!
How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, really good, man. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, dude. It's so good to see you.
What's happening?
Welcome to my Twitch, and how are you? Welcome in. Well,
yeah.
I had this great plan of a stream where we'd kind of talk about the original records, and then how you got involved with the original records, and kind of goes Todd, then you, and then Todd, then you, and we'll work that bit out with Todd in a bit, and we'll understand his end. So, but let's start with you. Okay. So Todd's the Keep On Jumpin' record came out, and then you got involved with that remix. How did that happen?
Yeah. How did that happen originally? So this is going way back to 96.
Yeah. Dig in.
Long time ago. How it originally happened was it was a bit of a naughty one actually, because we did a version of it, and we because it was all vinyl in them days, so we bootlegged it.
Really?
Yeah. And we got a call from Judge Jules, and he went, I really like that mix you've done of Todd's Jumpin'. He goes, but can you take it off the shelves? Because I've just signed it to Manifesto. But if you do that, we'll give you the official remix. And we're like, okay. So they sent us all the vocal parts that had been redone, which like Martha and Jocelyn did, and spent many days on that mix, and it just absolutely blew up. It ended up number 7 in the pop charts, which was unbelievable, and it was just every single DJ was playing it.
Wow,
absolutely insane. And it still gets played a lot now, like Jamie Jones, Carl Cox. That, it's sort of like the forefront of DJs are still playing it, and that's kind of how this edit came about, because I did it quite a while ago, and all I did was I took it into my studio and just boosted it for sort of modern times, just sort of re-EQ'd it a bit, and I've been doing some parties in Brighton with my friend Serge Santiago from Stomper Funk, and we started these parties up, and we've become a part of it with the Jack Said What label, and so we did quite a few parties last year, just basically raves in pubs, like midday to midnight, and a bit of an older crowd, but they're just going absolutely nuts. And I started playing that version at these parties, and everyone was just going mad to it.
Mm.
Then I got an email off Mark Broom, and he went, "Have you got that?" He asked me for the Rhythm Masters version of the Jumpin. I said, I've got this other version. Let me give you that and see what you think of this. And he was on the tour in the States at the time, and he was just texting me going, this is going off. It's crazy. And because he's more of a techno DJ, he was playing it like 135 BPM. He did a post. It was just like an Instagram post, and everyone just went mad for it. And I started getting like loads of messages. Yo, can I have a copy of that? Can I have a copy? Can I have a copy? Like from so many different DJs. And I sort of calmed it down. Thought, look, I'm not going to give this out. It's just too much. So I called Todd and I went, do you know what? I should put it out. And he was like, bloody hell, again. Because, well, because it's you, maybe we could do one more round of remix of this. So we put it out in January. It happened very, very quickly because this was all going on just before Christmas, and literally about 3 weeks later, it was out there. So that's how it happens. Yeah.
Okay, so that's mental. So you bootlegged it, and then it basically became this beast. Great.
Yeah.
Where was that in your journey of being Rhythm Masters and you and making records, and like where was that in that part? Was it early on, or had you had releases?
I think it was a couple of years in. We started putting the records out in '94, and we were putting a lot of music out there, but that was one that took it over the line and blew us up. And then of course after that, because it went top 10, all the major record companies came in and they were just offering us everything. We were sort of remixing everything, putting out lots of singles as well, different labels, Junior Boy's Own, and then we started our own Dysfunctional label, which we were getting props. It was like from Van Helden, Sneak, Roger Sanchez, Daft Punk, and all them boys. And we put some records out on Roger's label, Narcotic at the time, and it just blew up from that record. Yeah,
the power of records back then, man. That was
yes. It's kind of different now. I think it's a lot tougher to break through these days for like the next generation coming through. You need a lot of luck on your side now.
I've said that about records. The record's cool. The promotion's looking strong.
Yeah.
What luck are we going to get? What luck are we going to get with this? And what's just going to ride in our favour a little bit? Something.
Yeah. I see like a success story. You probably see like last year, the LF System Boys with that record. I mean, it ends up at number one for, was it 8 weeks or something?
Yeah, mental.
There's a little bit of luck there, but them boys got a big career out of that now.
Yeah, exactly. And I did a whole video. They had some great records before that. I actually dug into it because some of my students was like, they just come out of nowhere. And I actually made a video on YouTube about and dug into where all the records they've been leading up to that record. And they've been making records for a long time. And it's like, you go back in the history, it's mad.
Yeah, see, that's the thing where sort of everyone misses and go, oh, right, they've just blown up. They came out of nowhere, but they don't realise 10 years of work that was done before to get to that point.
Exactly.
I've seen it happen with a few of my friends, like say Rebuke, that's Ruben Keeney, and I was putting his records out when he was 15 or 16 years old. Yeah, and he rebranded himself a couple of times, and then 10 years down the road, he done the Along Came Polly record that went out on Hot Creations.
Yeah,
and look at him now. He's playing stadium gigs with all the
it's lovely to watch though, isn't it? When they do that, and like, I love watching that sort of stuff.
We hooked up I think when he just blew up, we hooked up. We were at the Miami Music Conference. I think it was 2019, just before the lockdown stuff, and we met up. I gave him a big hug, and it was just just so happy for him. I love seeing them stories, and especially where you've been involved from a very sort of early on.
Gang in the chat, if you want to go super nerdy on the production questions with Steve, get them in. And all those that have mentioned the synth in the background, Steve's studio is called The Bunker, and it's absolutely amazing. We did a live stream from your bunker, didn't we, one year? I think it was the 9th birthday.
We did, yeah.
And it was absolutely hilarious because it's a great space.
It's a beautiful space. It wasn't so beautiful after that party, though.
No, there's lots of fancy dress lying around.
Yeah. And a lot of beer cans and stuff.
Lots of inflatables.
That was the last party that ever happened in here.
Oh no! Also, a new duo came out of that party as well, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes,
which is always funny.
Yes.
Okay, so we're still waiting. Apparently, Todd's on his way.
Yeah.
Do you want to? We can play that original. Should we play that? We'll play a track and then we'll just give it a bit of time. So this is the original remix, and then we'll check Todd in. Hopefully, he might arrive between then. We can talk about that for a bit, and then we'll play the new remix as well. Let's get back in. Oh, I still love that record. I was saying earlier, it's one of the first pieces of vinyl I ever bought. And I like when I was buying vinyl back then, it was so fresh faced and so like, oh, this one looks good. This one's got a pretty cover. And then I put it on and I was just like, this is rocking. And I know I've told you a few times, oh, here he is. Here's Todd.
Oh.
But there's a great question in the chat, Steve. Did you have many synths back then, or was you mainly using samplers?
Samplers all the way. I think that with that record there, that was done on a S3000 and an Atari, so it's before audio. It was all MIDI. Synths we used to use them was like a JV 1080. We had a Mini Moog, a Prophet 5, System 100, Roland. There was a few synths. And the SP1200 drum machine as well.
And so somebody asked, what's your oldest synth you've got in that bunker?
I've got a Yamaha CS80, which is the ultimate. I've got an EMS Synthy as well, the suitcase one. You know, the one that looks like it's called the battleships. Yeah, that's quite old. I think it's about 45 years old.
It's older than me.
Yeah, I'm not sure how old the. I think the CS80 is about 45 years old as well. Yeah,
that's very cool. Very cool. Do you still use them?
Yes, I do. They haven't been getting a lot of use recently because I've been doing a lot of mixing and finishing off records that like I've started, and because when you're sort of making lots and lots of different stuff, you sort of get sidetracked because you keep writing, and then you're like, well, what about all these other ones? You need to finish them at some point. So yeah. So I've literally just cleared the slate of all my old stuff. So literally next week, I'm going to start writing some new stuff again. Really looking forward to it, actually.
Nice.
Yes.
Right, Todd's here. Let's get Todd in as well. Yes, we've got the full complement. Hey, Todd. Hey. How are you? Welcome to my Twitch stream. How you doing?
I couldn't get this shit to work.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We're in there now.
Mad, late and everything. I couldn't get it to work.
How you doing? Just to catch you up, we've just been playing the original record and the original remix that Steve did back in 1996. And I thought to get us started, I thought we'd talk to you about how that original record came about, how you started that record, because I guess for you that was that early on in your career as well? Like, was that? I know you jumped into.
I did that. I did that probably after I was doing. Let me see. It was in it was around the Freeze days, and I just was doing those EPs, the Unreleased Project, and I just did a bunch of tracks. I really didn't put that one in yet, so that's why that came out on like number 4 or something. Like I was just saving that up because I knew that was like a good banging track to play all the time. So yeah, I just bunch of tracks. Didn't notice it until I got done with it. You know,
I think it was 93. That one come out.
93.
Yeah. 93. Shit the bed. Because I didn't realize. I was digging, like this morning. I was digging into, but like I said to Steve earlier, I was digging into all the music and going back. And I didn't realize there was a Jumpin, and then there was I didn't realize there's 2 separate records. And did one come first? And then I literally, because I've known Steve for a long time, and I bought this record. It was one of the first pieces of vinyl I ever bought, and I'd just known this record and Steve's remix and kind of everything around that record. And then I started digging in this morning. I was like, shit, there's a whole other record that I didn't even know about, which I love this morning. It was an amazing time at 5 a.m. this morning.
Well, Steve's mix was worldwide. Mine was more like just underground, you know. So his mix went worldwide. Like the whole world knew it, you know. Yeah,
that's why a fresh-faced me knew it.
But them unreleased projects, EPs you done, Todd, they were actually so important for the time. They were game-changing DJ records. Because they were just straight up jacking grooves, simple but really effective and powerful. You play them records now, they still go off. You know. Well, I think you got up to about 7. There was about 7, wasn't there, unreleased projects?
Yeah, up to like 7. Yeah. We had some other ones that I was going to put out, but they're still in the back. You know, I'm still going to put them out one day. I'm just holding them for no reason and just holding them. You know?
Nice.
Yeah, something like that. Like it would be 4 like tracks and then 1 like kind of bonus beat, something like that.
Nice.
That was the concept.
And then this one obviously came out, and you had Martha Walsh and Jocelyn Brown on the vocals. Was that the first time you'd worked with vocalists, or was it kind of? Had you been doing it previously? Where was that in the kind of timeline of everything that's going on with you?
I worked with vocalists from the beginning. You know, that was my whole thing. Is I wanted to do songs. You know, I got into the track thing because it was just easier. You know, and that was why I got into tracks. I just was like, I didn't have to deal with the vocalists and the management of the vocalists and waiting for them in the studio and stuff like that. So I just kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to make a track and I don't want to wait for nobody, you know?
And I guess a question for both of you, like on my live streams on a Monday, we have a demo session, and on my demo sessions, we have a thing called, basically, I know where it started. I sort of said, I love kick drums. And whenever I listen to a track, whenever I'm choosing tracks for data transmission, it's always about kick drum. And I do a thing called this kick test. And that turned into basically, someone sampled me saying that, and it turned into a record. And now on a demo stream on a Monday, the tracks have to pass this kick test. And both of you, holy crap, bring the thump when it comes to kicks. So I thought we'd get you, both of you. How do you get your kicks so good, and what are you doing to make that happen? And who wants to go first?
There's only one answer for that, isn't there?
Go, Steve. Go, Steve.
Yes, 1200.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. It has
a mid-range knock to it.
Yeah, it's got a really good knock to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you both using the same sampler, same drum machine?
Yeah. It's either that drum machine or those sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit. You know, they kind of hit really hard.
They do very hard.
Amazing. Okay. So there you go, gang. It's that simple. Really good kick.
If you can find one now in good condition, and you know, if you've got a small fortune to spend on one.
How are you doing it these days? Wow. You're still using the same machines, or have you gone differently? Or
yeah, I've actually, my one, which is, I'll show you. It's over here, and it's actually sort of turned on. Can you see it?
Oh wow.
Nice.
I actually had a guy recondition it, which I think it was about 2 years ago. So I had all the buttons changed on it because it was knackered, and also I got a USB drive put in instead of the floppy drive because
Nice.
Still using floppy disks in this day and age. It's like, oh my god, if they worked as well,
It's not gonna work.
So he didn't do a bloody good job though. So some of them were sticking, and so there's a dude.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a dude here in the UK called Jazzcat, and he does MPCs and SP1200s and stuff. And I'm going to send him. I've got an MPC 3000 here actually, and he just sent me a load of drives and a new screen for that. But I'm going to send him the SP off and just recondition it, come back like new.
Yeah.
I still use a lot,
Good
and
one.
if it's working right, the process is still quick. I sort of sound so much easier than just using like software stuff, because you have to put so many plugins on it, and then it still don't sound quite right, and you're messing around for ages, and you just go to that and it's done in 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I took all the sounds that I had on SP12 and I just put it in Logic. So I have the sounds, I got the knock, I got everything. I just really did a clone of all those sounds and samples and the ring and the snare and the smacky hi-hats. I took all that stuff and I use it in Logic, and I learned in Logic how to manipulate it to swing like the SP1200. So
it was always
it's a swing, it's swing C, but then it's another piece of swing that goes to 53, 54, and that gives it this swing, Right. So it's like little technical thing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, gang in the chat. If you've got any questions for these guys, then gang in the chat. If you've got questions, drop them in, get them in, because like Steve's battery might run out and Todd's internet might die. So just get them in early. We'll replan the whole thing.
Mine's going to shut off probably too.
It's useless today.
So let's jump forward. So 25 years later, this track gets re-released. Todd, Steve sent you his new remix. What were your thoughts? How were you? Are you enjoying it? Tell us about the.
Well, actually, we had that remix out before.
We did.
And it did really well. Now it's out again, and it's doing really well.
No way.
It did. It won't stop.
And I boosted it a bit. That's all I did. And it was done. It was actually done 17 years ago.
No way.
It was, because Rob from Rhythm Masters commented. He went, did you use that isotope stutter to do that? I went, it wasn't even invented when I done that. It was just a lot of editing and, painstakingly editing. Yeah.
It's funky though, makes it funky.
Should we listen to it? Should we play it?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's play it. There we go. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Let's get the record. There we go. I saw.
Well done.
Yes, hey. I saw a lovely comment. What was the comment? It said, "How does it make both of you feel to see it going off again for a new generation?"
Fucking great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
mad. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like Jamie Jones, Coxie still drops it all the time. It's mad.
Yeah.
I've heard it on things, and I'm like, I know when it comes in, I'm like, no way, it's getting played again. Wicked.
For 25 odd years longer. Yeah.
So Todd, these young upstarts 25 years ago bootlegged your record, and how was that? Like, how was all of a sudden you get here these young upstarts that have bootlegged your record, and it's a banger. What happened then with you from your end?
I just bootlegged them. It's all good.
We'll bootleg each other.
I'm the one that makes all the money out of it anyway. So just, bootleg each other. Go ahead. Whatever.
When did you then meet each other? Obviously, because you were in different countries and internet and no phones and messaging back then. When did you?
It's Winter Music Conference in.
We hung out in the studio. I know me and Mac hung out in the studio first. That's where we met each other.
A few years later, yeah. But we met around the pool, the Fontaine Bleu.
Yeah.
The original Winter Music Conference. Like that was 97.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you're right.
We're actually with Jocelyn as well, because she was a friend of mine, because she was living in London, where she lives in London.
That's right.
And she introduced us. It was like, fucking hell, this is the record like out a year before. It's like, yeah, it was just funny. And we drank a load of cocktails around the pool.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It's a great meeting. Great meeting.
Yeah, the best meetings.
Best meetings.
So Steve, that's an early days of Conference Club. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Conference was crazy back in the days.
It used to be amazing. And it would, the conference then, it would just, there'd be people giving you records and stuff, and records will break. Do you know what I mean? And I remember, I remember meeting Alan Brax there for the first time, and he couldn't even speak English then, and he gave me a copy of that. Yeah, he gave me a copy of that intro record, and I remember getting home and going through a pile of records in my studio. And going, Jesus. And where you just keep playing and playing. It was the same with the Stardust record and Moose
Stardust
T.
was crazy.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. So many big records used to come out of that conference. Where it's a bit different now, because it's more like Ultra Music Festival really now.
Yeah.
It's so
no
busy.
Fun. It's no fun.
No, it's fun. It's fun for the 17-year-olds and that, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's the next generation. It's a different vibe now.
Yeah.
I had a good time last year anyway.
Yeah. It comes and goes.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
It's what it is.
Is what it is.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk some more music. Todd, you've got hectic releases, dude. You've got loads coming out. You've got the thing I was looking through the release schedule is you've got a mix of like stuff with new people like Volcoda, and you've done some records with is it Yannicka? She makes some great music. But then you're also doing stuff with Heads.
Great stuff.
Heads like Mark Knight. Talks about releases like. Yeah, tell us about your collaborations. Do you think it's important to collaborate? Where are you? Yeah.
Well, collaborations. The trick to collaborations is timing and setup, and because like you say, like I said before, I ended up in a boy band. So so it's two of us now, and the managers and the lawyers. We're all a boy band singing on stage. And we got to get it together. We got to make it all work, and it's tougher that way, but it's exciting. It's exciting to do stuff with different people. Me, Steve, Mark Knight, Volcoda, Mecca, all that. It's exciting. It just you look at it and you gotta hear it. You gotta check it out. Bad or good, you're gonna check it out.
I guess that must both of you must bring kind of new because obviously you're working with some of these that are younger, much younger, and they're bringing new things, new processes, new ways of looking at stuff. I guess that must be it keeps it fresh for you these 10, 20, 30 years into the game.
Keeps you current. Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I've got Steve on. Where's Steve? Not
Oh,
making
well,
noise. Hang on. There he is. It's all right. I muted him. He's back in. Hi, Steve.
Hi. You've got to keep it interesting as well to keep yourself interested. You know, you keep doing the same old thing. It just drives you around the bend in the end, you know.
I saw a lovely comment, Steve, while we were listening to the. I just remember the comment I saw. Someone said that that Mark Knight must have got loads of inspiration from the when we were playing the River Masters music right at the start
there. Yeah, probably did. Yeah. Yeah. I've known Mark a long time. Yeah.
Okay, shall we listen to more music? Let's play another track. There we go. Holy moly. That can have one of those as well.
Book.
I love that. That's sick. Big drums again. Holy crap.
Thank you so much.
Where do you start with making records? How's your process for making records, Todd?
Oh, I'm horrible. I'm all over the place. It could be a vocal. It could be a snare drum. It could be a loop when I'm in a cafe. I mean, like, I'm get that loop, you know? So I'm always thinking music. I'll be in the bathroom taking a shit and I'll think of a beat. It's annoying though sometimes because everything is just like, it's all crazy, symmetrical. And like anything I'm doing is like, I'm thinking about what can I do with that sound? The fire truck going by. Like I got to do a fire truck record, you know? Just bugging out.
Nice. And then how are these collabs coming about? Are people reaching out to you and going, "Can we work?" Are you finding these people?
I barely reach out to somebody for the collab. It's more like they reach out to me because it's like an old record they find and they want to redo it. You know, like certain people I'll reach out to, like Steve, I'll do a collab. Like that's my type of collab. Some of these other collabs more commercially induced. Like they're put together and then my name comes up and they're like, oh, that'll be perfect. Let's put that, you know, it comes up on the table like in a weird way. But is it organic all the time? Not all the time organic, but I make it organic, you know, because I learned from my lessons what not to do.
That's cool.
I learned.
How about you, Steve? Where you starting records?
It's usually with me I always start with drums. Like I said, I use a lot of analog gear still. I sort of use my computer as a tape recorder, and I'm a Logic user as well. But I like coming down into this room and just messing around with all these machines and just recording it all into a box, and then I've just got it in my laptop or whatever anyway, and then I can edit, create, and move it around where I want. You know, it just gives it my sound as well. I find it quite hard just working on a computer. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's always usually the drums I start with, and like as far as sort of collaborations go, I've been working with quite a lot of people recently, and mostly friends. Obviously, I've started this label with Carl Loban from DJ Mag and Irving Welsh, the author, and that was
that's a mad collab.
Yeah, well, I've actually just scored where Train Spotting is becoming a West End musical, and I've just scored it with Irving. Irving done a lot of the songwriting and I wrote all the music, and it's quite amazing actually, because like where Irvin is an absolute genius writer anyway, he was naturally a really good songwriter. So we've been working together for a good 6 or 7 years on other projects, and this is how this like Trainspotting thing come about. But that's coming out. That's going into the theatre next February 24. It's all been written. The script is finished. We did some rehearsals last year. Now we've got to record the album, and that's quite a big job, because that's going to be a lot of live instrumentation on it, like strings, orchestras.
Nice.
It's all been scored as well now, so it's all been written to sheet paper, which it's quite it's quite a big job. So I've just been, like I was saying earlier, I've been finishing up all my old records just to get them out. So my schedule is done for this year. So I've got it's given me my year to work on this project, and I've got a couple of other sort of album-y projects that I'm starting as well. One which is a bit more instruments, and the other one's a bit more synthesizer, just to keep it interesting, and hopefully.
Someone said in the comments that they imagine Steve goes down in the bunker and sits in his chair, spins round, and whichever synthesizer he sees first, that's where he starts making a record.
Yeah, well, I'll just spin around and look at it all and then go for a walk, because it's pretty fun.
Todd, how are you making record? Are you using hardware as well still? Or are you now computer? You mentioned you were Logic. You were brought into
I'm
Logic.
not lucky to use hardware. I do everything inside the computer, and I send it off to Bill Klatt to mix it. I do nothing.
That's
brilliant.
I'm the idea man now. I come up with the idea.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm Arthur Baker now. You're gonna put this here, you'll put that there, put this there, it's gonna be a hit, So it's like I see it now, But
I've got
Logic.
I've got a record coming out with Arthur in the summer.
Arthur's cool.
It's something we've done a while ago. It was like, hey
one of
man,
my idols,
when are we going to
Arthur
finish
Baker.
these records, man? It's been sitting there for years. So I was like, okay, I've done it.
I love Arthur cursing me out. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, let's get this shit done. Like, I love that.
That's it. He always comes out. You need to get that shit out.
Yeah, you need to get that shit out. He's straight up. Up. I love it.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm in Logic. I'm just playing around. Yep.
Brilliant.
That's cool. What records were you listening to growing up? Holy crap.
James Brown.
Yeah.
That's what I used to listen to. James Brown, Quincy Jones, Fatback Band, Gap Band, Isley Brothers.
Nice.
That's my world.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's my world. Yeah.
Steve?
That kind of started my world, and then I really got into like the early electro stuff, like the Warren Akins, and then it sort of grew into like Run DMC, and then the whole hip hop thing, and then it was kind of started like with sort of like 808s and synths with rap over them, like Captain Rock and records like that, Al Nafish, and then going into hip hop. And I was just obsessed with all that music, and so much so I used to practice the scratch mixing stuff in my bedroom for hours, entered them DMC competitions when I was about 14 years old, and and then got hold of a sampler when I was about 15 and thought, actually, this is like having 18 pairs of hands, and I can actually make a living out of this as well. So yeah,
nice.
So it's really the early electro stuff that really got me. Yeah.
Nice.
Still sounds so good.
It does. It really does. Breath of fresh air.
It must be on its loop round soon as well. Like it's been a few years. Has it got to 20 years yet? Is it back for its loop of electro yet?
Past 20 years. Yeah.
Big time.
It must be on its 40. It might be 40. It's 82. That means it's 40-year loop. It could be back then next soon.
40 years. Shit.
40-year loop. Another one. Even though Todd is a great DJ producer, his voice fits house music so well. How does he feel about his voice being sampled? Has that ever happened?
I'm the greatest voice ever. I love my voice. You gotta love it. It just fits right in with every record. I'm singing love songs now. It's great.
Amazing.
If anyone samples him off this stream, it'll be amazing. Find a.
They will.
They will. They will. Trust me, they will. There'll be a challenge soon. Someone will find something.
Audio hijack on, but that would definitely flatten my battery.
Are you two collaborating on anything new? Something new, perhaps?
Definitely.
Yeah, we are, Steve. Right, Steve? Tell him yes. Say yes, Steve. Say yes.
Yeah, we're going to do something. We're going to do something big.
Well, tomorrow. We'll be ready by tomorrow.
I'm ready.
Great.
All right.
You're going disco big, Steve.
Yeah. We're gonna get a disco loop, and we got an idea.
I'm still a sucker for a disco loop. I've got a few of those up my sleeve.
I got one for you, Steve. I got one.
Have you?
I got one.
Brilliant. Once we get off here, fire it over. I'll work it.
Sending you a loop. Classic.
I've got a set record of Steve's that's got a disco loop in it, and that needs to be released. I keep playing it in my disco sets. He knows which one.
That is actually going to come out.
Woohoo!
Yeah. When did I give you that? 6 years ago? Is it? Holy
moly! A long time ago. I remember you played it to us, and I was like, "Can I have it?" And you were like, "Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right." It's a beast of a track. That track.
It's. Do you know? It's sometimes I'll sit on a record for 10 years. I sat one when we did that Rhythm Masters record on Eats Everything label, the Feel Your Love. I actually made that 10 years before it came out.
No way. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of like had a boogie sample in it, and what was going on at the time, it just didn't work because it was all that sort of EDM nonsense and electro house stuff, and it was just a bit. It wouldn't work, and then it was the timing was just much more. It was the right time for it, so that's when I put it out. And maybe it's the same with this one, but I actually sort of loaded that back up just before Christmas and tweaked it a bit, and it's sounding great. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sorry, guys. My phone is going to die.
Okay.
I'm using two phones to do this.
Do we need any more questions for Todd? Get him in quick before his phone dies. Quick.
Because this thing is about to blow up.
Here's a good one. What do you like to do in your downtime, Todd, outside of making records? Do you have obviously when your hobby, music becomes your hobby and it becomes your life, do you have kind of stuff you do outside of music that you like doing?
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm into cars and stuff like that, I guess.
Nice.
I got my, 1970 Mustang, taking care of that's like taking care of a girl. So it is what it is. That's a lot of work.
How important is it to keep to a niche sound when you're trying to break through, or does it matter these days and can you just go all over?
I don't, I think we've done all types of music, we stick to it we stick to it as much as we could with our beats. That's the niche sound, is having a beat you can dance to and bob your head and, and hold your drink and feel cool. That's my niche sound. I'm always seeing me and my boys and chilling like, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's my vibe. So that's my niche. It's a niche mood more than a niche sound.
That's very cool. Okay, we'll finish for you because your battery's literally about to die, and then I'll see if I can keep Steve in for a bit. You just did a record with Riva Starr. I thought I'd play that one to leave you out on Hot Creations. Can you tell us about that record before I play it?
Yeah, I mean, the Riva Starr record, it was just like one of those strange ones. It was just a track, but everybody liked it. It's nothing you can do about it. Like, it just keeps on moving and grooving, and it's very housey and everything like that. It's great. It's just one of those little things. Sometimes it's just a little thing that people like, a bass line or percussion. They just find these little things and they're grooving with it. Like I said, that's the holding the drink and having a good time.
Yeah.
That's the vibe of it. The vibe of
the Day in the Life stabs, wasn't it? A Day in the Life had in that.
Has it, I think his battery's died. Look, I think it has. I think he has. I think his battery's just died.
Frozen Todd, Freeze Records. There you go.
There it is. There you go. Thank you, Todd, for joining us. Let me get... Okay, I'll play his record and we'll carry on, Steve.
Okay, mate.
Right, okay, there we go. Let's get back in. I'm conscious of your battery now as well. The battery stream. It's always a way. Whenever I've got streams prepared to the absolute T, there's always a technical thing. like the questions were written. I knew what I was doing. I had all the music. And there's always a technical. I'm better off just rocking up, and then I know that it's not going to be a technical issue.
Yeah, the thing, I leave my charger at home because I can't be bothered to carry the weight of it when I come to the studio every day. And so I usually put my laptop on charge when I get home in the evening. I forgot last night. I was like, oh no. So
okay, so you've just launched a new record label called Jack Said What.
Yes.
You had an album. You had put Serge Santiago's album out, which was 11/11 on the 11th of November.
Yes.
Tell me about the label. Tell me about the kind of vision for it. You'd mentioned you're working with Carl Loban, who's actually here next Wednesday. He's here next Wednesday chatting to me as well. So that's going to be fun.
Yes. Well, I think the reason we originally started the label was I've been working with Irving on some projects. We needed a platform to put them out. I was sitting on a load of music. The project I was doing with Irving, Carl's been managing. So it was kind of like, so I think it was the summer of 21. I'm going, right, well, should we let's start a label and so we can put this stuff out. And then, then we were like thinking, well, we'd like to, get some good artists on there as well, not just being about our own music. And it's like with Serge. Serge is one of my drinking buddies anyway. He literally lives 5-minute walk around the corner from my house.
Amazing.
Both. And so
I love Serge.
Yeah. I bumped into him one Friday night. It was just a random, and he was out with his missus and his missus' mum, and we were in, and he went. Oh, he goes, I've done this album. He goes, if I give you a copy, would you have a listen? And I was like, yeah, of course I will. I said, well, I'll do one better because it was a Friday night. I said, look, I'll pop to the studio tomorrow morning and listen to it properly. So I did. I got up the next morning on Saturday, and I came down here and I listened to it. And I was like, "Wow, this is brilliant." So I was meeting them again later on that afternoon, and because it was Jack's, which is Serge's missus, it was her mum's 80th birthday, and there's this local old school boozer near where we live, and we were all in there, and we were drinking quite a lot of tequila and stuff. So I waited, quite pissed. I went, right. I sent your album to Carl this morning. We had a list and we want to sign it. And it was like, yeah, okay then. So that was it. And, and we've released, I think he's got his 4th single coming up now. We've put his album out. He's delivered his 2nd album as well. He's been working really hard. It's really, really good stuff. And it sort of makes the sort of stuff that it's quite similar to mine. We've got a similar sort of taste in music, so it was just a perfect fit for the label. And like with him being a good mate as well, it was it was just a natural thing. And we're actually going to be doing some stuff together as well down the line. But a few collaboration tracks.
Serge has got such a mad history with dance music. Like he was Retrograde, and then he was Ways and Odyssey, and before that he was just under his own name, and now he's releasing under his own name again.
He used to be part of Slave as well.
Who?
Radio Slave. He used to be part of that.
Part of Radio Slave. He was part of Radio Slave. So he was part of Radio Slave. Then he went to be Retrograde with Tom Neville, and then he went to Ways and Odyssey with Firaz, and now he's back under his own name of Serge Santiago. He's got a mad history of music. He's such an talented producer.
Yeah. He's been around the block a bit.
Yeah. And then coming up, you're going to release your own album. We finally have an album, or we have another album. We've had albums before.
It's an acid house album.
Nice.
So basically, I made it with just like 808s, 909s, 303s, acid boxes, and I worked with a lot of my friends, like some of the originators of this music, like Marshall Jefferson and Robert Owens, Sleazy D, God rest his soul, E-Rays. They've all collaborated on the album. Yeah.
Again, do they come to you? Do they, like, are these people coming into the bunker? Like,
well, it was kind of, with Marshall. Me and Marshall were working on a Sleazy D album, and so while Marshall was here, I said, "Oh, will you vocal this record for me for my album?" He's like, "Sure." And me and Marshall become really good friends, and I've done a few mixes for him, for his staff, and so on. We've actually signed a record from him as well under his On the House moniker that he's done with Curtis McLean called City Life, which is coming out I think March or April. Yeah, so it was, and like with Robert, Robert came down because it was me, him, and Danny Ramplin were doing a track together, and Danny was late, so me and Robert were here. I said, and I played him a couple of instrumentals I had, and Robert pulled out his black book. He went, oh, I've got some vocals for this one that will really work, and he just started singing. I went, oh man, that's amazing. So we just recorded these other tracks while he was here, and that's actually my next release is coming. It's a Robert Owens record. It's a bit of a sort of a piano house acidy record coming out. Actually comes out 2 weeks today, which is the next single from the album, because I did put out one sort of last summer, around summer. Jack Said What, which was the name of the label, came from that record. And the album drops. There'll be one more single after that. Then the album drops at the end of April. We're going to do a Stomper Funk party for it, for an album launch. I think it's going to be the Easter Friday, which is the 7th of April, I think. So what we're going to do is put the pre-order up that day, and maybe do it exclusive with one of the sites, so you get it first. And
Bandcamp.
So it's That's cool. Putting out, it's quite mad putting out dance music albums these days, because it's everything's single, and the attention span of people is very short these days, and it's just about getting the next record out and the next one. It's it's non-stop really. But fuck it, why not? Just put it out. Yeah.
Okay, let's play a record. Let's play Jack Said What then. Let's play this. Okay. we go. I'm still conscious of your battery, but let's get another rave on. Bangers, mate. This is sounding good. I can't wait to hear this album.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask you is about. I know lots of our producers in the chat always struggle with their mix and their master, and you are the absolute don when it comes to mixing and mastering records. So I thought I'd ask you some tips for getting their mix right. How can they do it? What do you do? How can you help? Have you got any advice?
Yeah. Get a professional to mix them. You know what? It's one of the hardest things to achieve, to get right, because the basic thing of it is sound levels. If you get your balance of the sounds in the mix right, that is basically half the battle. Maybe actually even more, 70% of the battle. It's just everything sitting right. But to be able to do that, you need to be able to hear what you're doing. And of course, you know, I've spent years going through so many different types of speakers, different room designs, soundproofing, headphones, and all kinds of things, and different equipment, different compressors, equalizers, even down to sound like the controllers. It's a minefield. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it's why you know, you look at sort of like bands when they go in to record. You know, you've got sound engineers that mic up all the amplifiers. You've got a producer sitting there. You get someone else to mix the record. You know, it's a big production to get them records to sound like that and end up being huge hits. There's a lot of people working on them records, and that's the difference. You know, you've got all these different people doing different things, and and in the kind of dance world, or even like a producer now, is sort of like everyone looks on the producers like, oh, you've got to be able to play instruments, you've got to be able to program, you've got to be able to mix down, you've got to be able to do bloody everything now, and you know, it's not really the way. You know, I would say, you know, it's like if you can get help, I'd get it. I mean, it's like things like a home mastering. I mean, I've got the studio I've got here. I use a lot of analog equipment. I still master to tape, and you know, I use summing mixers. I've got you know, lots of different compressors, and you know, all the drums go through different stuff. The vocals go through different compressors and all kinds of stuff. And but I still use a mastering engineer. I can master it myself, but I like the fact of sending the record off to a mastering engineer because it's more finished. Then it also means you can't go back and start tweaking it and going, oh, but if you know that cowbell was half a dB lower, it'd sound better, because it fucking won't. And actually, you know, you can actually drive yourself mad with this stuff, and so I've built a really good relationship with a mastering engineer, and I get my mixes to a point, and I still master them myself in here, but then I'll send them to a professional mastering engineer, and he always gets it about 5% better than I would, because mastering rooms are completely different to recording studios. They're different design. The soundproofing, the actual monitoring system is set up completely different to a monitoring system for making records. So, you know, so I think it's still key to getting these things done right. Which I know it's been a real struggle over the years, because you know, the sort of all the money got sucked out of music, really. You know, I think when, you know, sort of the end of the 90s and the whole Napster thing started, and then it was all the illegal downloading, and then now it's sort of moved to streaming, and it's still quite difficult to make a living out of streaming, but some people are doing better than they was now, and there is money in it again, but it's still difficult. So what happens with that is the music suffers. It's like, well, you know, I can't really afford to get my record mixed properly, or I can't afford to get it mastered, so I'm going to do it all myself. This is what it's become, and I think, you know, the ones that stand out are the ones that have been done properly, and you've got a much better chance of getting anywhere with getting your stuff, getting it done right. I'm a really strong believer in that.
Skeleton Keys asks, does Steve have any tips on groove quantize? Does he have a go-to setting on Logic or a sequencer?
I use the sequencers. I use the SP1200. I use a hell of a lot, and the Akai MPC I use for sequencing drums. I don't really sequence my drums like in Logic or Ableton. I've just found I can't get the sort of swing and groove that I want out of them machines. So I like to use the drum machines. But yeah, I mean, for in the box one, the Akai MPC software is bloody amazing. I've been using that. I actually got one of the prototype machines when they brought it to the country about 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, I still use that. It's really, really good.
Which MPC is Steve rocking? Harvest asks.
I've got I've been through quite a few of them. The first I had the MPC Renaissance, which and the MPC Studio, the small one. Then I got an MPC Touch, which packed up. Now I'm using M1 computer. None of them old ones work. So I've just bought the small MPC Studio, but it's got a very tiny screen on it, and I kind of miss the screen a bit. But I've also got an MPC 3000 here, which I've just had a brand new screen put on it, and a card reader drive, a SCSI card reader drive, and got an MPC 2000 XL in the corner as well. So still, yeah, I still like the sampling hardware ones too. But if my go-to in the box one is the Akai Studio. Yeah.
Harvey says that the 2000 XL was the first MPC he used, and the SIC. Well, that takes Skeleton Keys back.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Steve, I was telling you, can we play an old record now? I was telling you before. Oh my god, I was digging back into records that you've put out in the past. Oh my god, and I remember I found a record that. And I'll tell everyone what happened. Basically, I remember probably the second time we ever hung out at Turnmills, and you brought a record down to and you literally finished it that afternoon. Yeah, and we sat in that pink room upstairs, and before your set, and I think we played it 4 times in a row before your set because you were pumped because it was a massive record. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, fuck, play it again, because I was really young back then. I was like, play it again, and then you DJ'd, and I was like in the booth, and we were like, play it again. And I think you played it 3 times in one set, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then I was like, can I have the CD? And I've still got the CD. And you were like, yeah, here, I'd have the CD. Took the CD out and just gave it to me.
It still works.
I've still got it somewhere. I haven't got a CD player, but I've got the CD somewhere. And as I've got you on, I thought, can I play that record? Because I absolutely love it still. And I heard it this morning, and it brought such fond memories back.
Nearly 20 years.
Yeah, it is. 20.
I think I know which one it is. Yeah. The big track?
It's called That Big Track, and it's fucking epic.
Yeah.
Should I play it?
Yeah, it's quite a statement to call something the big track, isn't it?
It is. It was.
Yeah. Jesus.
I'm going to play it. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
I flipping love that track. Sarah in the chat used to play this up for 6 months solid. Skeleton Keys. I'm interested to know where Steve gets his musical knowledge from. Did he learn pianos or play in bands?
No. I'm more of a DJ really. So I actually got a keyboard player in to play that one.
Yeah.
I've learned quite a lot over the years, but I'm not a great piano player. Do you know what I mean? I can play enough to get the chords, melodies, ideas, and stuff. But yeah, but I suppose the musical knowledge comes with just spending your whole life doing it. Really, 39 years I've been into it now.
Jesus Christ. 40-year party next year. Holy crap.
Started at 11 years old. Yeah.
No way. Shit.
Turned 50 last year. Yeah.
I'll ask the same question to you. How do you spend your downtime when you're not making music? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any kind of stuff that's non-music that kind of keeps your mindset healthy and yourself healthy?
I mean, I've got a pretty good social life. I've got a good bunch of friends down here, and do a bit of traveling as well. But yeah, as far as I could do with another hobby, really, but I don't really have one. It's kind of like the sort of music thing. It's just such a full time sort of. It just takes my mind full time. It's mental. It's hard to explain. Can't imagine doing anything else. It takes over your life,
How do you organise your working hours? Do you take breaks? Do you put finishing deadlines on finishing music? That's a good question.
I've changed my work ethic now. So I usually get up around 6:30 in the morning. I come in, I just get up and go. So most mornings I'm in work by 7:30. I work to about 5, 6, 7 o'clock, depends on how busy I am. I try to take the weekends off, but I do end up coming in quite a lot of Saturdays just because I've got so much on. But I've sort of separated. I don't have a setup at home anymore. I have a laptop, but I don't do much music on it. I might sketch some ideas here and there, but I think with what I've got on my schedule this year, I might have to just put like a computer and a couple of speakers at home. It's there. It's just not set up at the moment, and I've tried just to try and keep it separate to have sort of downtime from it. But sometimes you just gotta go 24/7.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. What? So the album's dropping. When's the album fully dropping? Is that the full schedule? Basically, you're going to be singles, albums. Is that your kind of year mapped out with that and singles? And have you got anything else coming up that's cool?
Yeah, I've got. I've done a collaboration with Cutler Rock. He's obviously old Brighton crew as well from signed to Skin Records, and we sort of connected last year, and we've done a couple of sort of like disco-y sample things together. They've finished and mastered and ready to go. We're just
nice.
Trying to work out what we're going to call ourselves. So we're at that stage. So yeah, there's been some collaborations with him. We've done quite a few records. They're sounding really, really good. Yeah, then there's a few others. I've done some with John Carter as well.
Yeah, we just premiered that record. It's just come out. Jack said what? And John's back on the scene, which is absolutely epic. I flipping love John Carter. Yeah. He's back in full swing as well. He's his spare room at home has got wires all around it and synthesizer, and guitar pedals, and he's fully back in the game. Yeah, after a long break. Yeah, I'll play that record in a minute. You also doing something with Chad Jackson? Tell me about that. Tell me about this.
Yeah, well, Chad's another really good friend of mine, and Chad's sort of been popping down to the studio quite a lot over the last few years, and we've done a few records together. But this particular one, we sort of took his because he had a hit record back in the 90s. We've called Hear the Drummer, and it went I think
Get
it
the
hit the
drummer.
UK charts to about it got to about number 3, I think.
Hmm.
So we've done a sort of a different type of version of it. It's called Get Wicked Again. So we've changed the name of it, and it's used some of the samples that are originally used, but it's a bit more of a sort of like a disco funk kind of thing we've done on it. It sounds really, really cool. Yeah, really happy with it. And it's a bit different. It's keeping the sort of the musicality that I've been doing at the moment, just switching it up and doing all different types of stuff, not just like the sort of tech house fodder. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
I guess,
just-
like we said about earlier, I guess that keeps it interesting for you. When you're this deep into it, it's about kind of you've got scope to reach to kind of go across multiple genres, because it's essentially for you, it's all house music.
yeah, exactly. And it's not that I'm, because the tech house stuff, I like some of that as well. It's, there's some really good stuff out there, but it's just like, just not all the time. It's just keep it interesting. Some records are, I love techno records, just dark and drum, some of it. And then some I like really musical records as well. So just having the best of all worlds, really.
That's cool.
Being able to make.
Loz, my assistant, has actually just bootlegged that drummer record as well. So he's gonna send you that.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's literally just bootlegged it, which is strange because we saw on the list this morning. He was like, "Shit, I've just bootlegged that track," and he's now going to put it out as original.
Yeah, can you send it to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Does Steve have any go-to software that he's impressed him recently?
I really only use like a handful of plugins. I don't use that many. I think the one that really, really good. It was a compressor by it's a George Massenburg compressor. It's quite an expensive one. It's about $400, which is a lot of money for a plugin, but it sounds really, really good. It's probably that was probably the closest I've heard to actually sounding like sort of like a real hardware unit. And so yeah, that I came across. I think it was just before Christmas. It come out about November time, something like that. And I've been using that a lot. But I sort of use that, and I use one equalizer, which is like the Massenburg one, a widener plugin, a couple of limiters, and that's about it. It literally is a handful of plugins. I've sort of learned over the years, like putting too much stuff on sounds that actually destroys them. It's too much processing. You don't need it all. You really don't. You need to be careful with the sort of audio you've got there, because you can end up doing it more damage than good by using tons of plugins that don't need to be on there. It's over processed.
Cairo effects. How do you decide when a record is finished? That's a good one, Steve.
You kind of just know. It's like there's some that can take a long time. Like this remix I've just done for it was a Marshall Jefferson track, the City Life thing that we're putting out. I was, it's over a couple of days, and I was like all the little bits and levels, because it's a full vocal record. It's more of a musical record, and I was like, gosh, shit, why is this not finished yet? And and it goes into the next day, and then suddenly you just do something and go, it's done. You just know, because then I think what it is, where you listen to it, you go, there might be like a certain part in the record where the vocal, you can't hear that word, and it gets to that much detail. And I think especially with sort of vocal records, it is a bit like that. So you have to kind of listen to it quite a bit to get the balance of everything sitting well together. And yeah, that one was just like, bloody hell, will this ever end? And then I'll get other ones that instantly you mix and go, yeah, that's it, done, 2 hours, finished. It really depends on what the material is. But yeah,
That's
usually songs are longer. Yeah.
What's Steve's process for finding wicked disco samples that were so crucial from the River Masters days?
Back in the days, what we used to do, I mean, we went in, there was this second-hand record shop in Brighton. We went there, and we went in there, and he had this like wall of like old disco records and that, and we just went to him and go, how much do you want for all of it? And he was like, what? We go, look, we want to buy all the records. And he was like, oh, I don't know, 500 quid. Like, brilliant, done. And we just take the whole lot. and just sit there with a turntable, listening to stuff, and having a sampler connected, and any interesting bits along the way where you're listening, you sample them as you go along as well, and just keep it up, and then maybe then after a few days, just make a few records, see what happens. It's sort of like building the sample collection up. I mean, this day and age, it's a lot easier because everything's online now. So, but it's still fun. I mean, I've done this other album project as well with a friend of mine. It's another project that's finished. It's a bit more sort of like Indian breakbeat, and we did a lot of sampling on that, but it was more, we were sampling like weird like film score records. And it's my friend who I'd done it with, Danny G. He was basically going record shopping all the time and buying these really weird, obscure soundtracks, and he'd bring them, and we'd just sit there with a turntable, and I'd just sort of going, oh god, that's a really nice string sound, and getting all these bits, and then throwing them into a sampler and just moving them all around. And yeah, that was a project we've done quite recently. So yeah, the turntable still comes into effect.
Nice.
Then yeah, it's a bit more fun as well.
I bet. Sounds amazing. Do you ever get to the point where you go, I'm sick of hearing this track over and over and over and over and over and over?
Every fucking day. Do you know what? Sometimes especially when we get these ones that take, I was saying a bit, they take a little bit longer. It's just like, oh god, and you come in for the next day and you're like, oh, this fucking record again. And it's sort you start hearing it, and you start hearing it. It's like this, like sort of cheesy, annoying things that you didn't notice about the record before, and then it starts to really piss you off. Then when it's finished, you get it mastered, check it, leave it. Then listen to it about a month later, and you go, oh yeah, this is great. This is the reason I made the record. But yeah, it can imagine just hearing it thousands of times over and over. It's enough to drive you mad. You need a lot of patience doing this job as well.
What are your favorite bass synthesizers? Oh, there's a good little game.
Minimoog is a brilliant bass synthesizer. Of course, the 303, where it's acid box, but obviously it's got a really nice bass sound to it as well. What else?
We talked about acid house a bit earlier, and you obviously got this acid house album coming up. When did you get your first 303, and when did you kind of fall in love with a 303?
Oh god, I got my first one. I think it was quite late on. I think it was about 99. I got it, the first one. Yeah, and sort of looked at it and how does this work? So yeah, it was. I mean, we used to use it then. It was very trial and error as well. We'd just sit there and trying to work out how to work the bloody thing. I mean, it's a lot easier now. You've got like YouTube. You can just jump on the internet and go, right, how does? Because I still buy machines like now and go, right, this how does it work? And then you just go on YouTube and someone will find something. A bit like patching like modular synths as well. Is just go on YouTube and watch people do it. You go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And you start learning tricks that you put into your own tricks, and it's all out there now to learn. Much easier.
I wonder how many times Steve's had a 909 kick drum. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Probably more times than people have had hot dinners. Who's the youngest in here? Who's the youngest in the chat? Probably more times than the youngest person in the chat's had hot dinners.
Yeah, probably. And it's still, I have one in the corner over here, and I still use it all the time. I was talking to someone the other day about this. It was going, don't you think it's weird? Like the 808 and 909 drum machine have been used constantly for 40 years, and they've been on countless amounts of records. How come they still work? It doesn't get boring. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. That was my answer. It's insane, and you know, I always find I go to it, and the kick drum, it's always different because you can tune them, and you can actually get it to fit the record that you're making, and so it's just a very handy machine to have. I mean, they're just so expensive now. All this stuff it's gone through the roof.
Do you layer your kick drums?
I do, yeah. Sometimes, 2 to 3 kick drums.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't fix what's not broke. Don't fix what's not broken with the 808 and the 909. Agreed.
Yeah, totally.
What's the best record you've ever worked on? Oh wow.
Oh shit. Oh god. I don't know. That's a really difficult question. I've been lucky to work on some great records. Fuck, I don't know. That's thrown me, that one. I don't know. I can't really answer that. I mean, Jumpin.
Yeah.
No, I got out of that one.
There you go. We'll go back to the start. That record's so big. Wicked. Well, we're there. Look, 5-2. Perfect. Steve Mack,
Right.
Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to Todd, who joined us earlier.
2%.
2%, we did it. Yeah.
We made it. I've had the contrast on the lowest setting as well, so I can still see them now.
You can hear me. That's all that matters.
I can see you still, but it's just very
cool.
But it worked. We got there.
Thank you so much for joining me, mate. It's so good. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's been really nice, and good to see Todd as well. And
yeah,
I'll be on him later for that disco sample thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And if we do something with it, I'll fire it over your way.
100%. I want to. If there's a new version of Go, let me send.
I will, mate. I will. I promise.
And one of the questions someone asked is, are you signing records for Jack Said What?
Yes, all the time. Always looking.
Okay.
Yeah, always looking.
And I'll see you.
I'll put the website in the link somewhere.
We have. We've been putting them in there.
Yeah, just put the website up. There should be an email in there. You can fire your track over, but we're on the look all the time.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
We'll have to get you back on a demo stream on a Monday because there's so much good quality in our Discord now. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay, yeah.
And we literally listen to demos every Monday, so we'll have to get you back for an A&R session on a Monday.
Sounds good. I'd love to do it. Yeah.
Wicked.
Okay, mate.
Steve Mack, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in Brighton, probably at BMC, if not sooner. Yeah. Thank you so much, dude.
All right, mate. Take care.
See you soon, mate. Bye.
If you found this interview interesting, consider giving it a like and a comment. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and let me know your biggest takeaway below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I'm back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you can check out the schedule from the link below as well to see who's coming up in my interview series. I'll see you in the next Twitch stream or the next YouTube video. I'll see you soon. Bye.